Please,
Thank you, sir.
pleasure, bro.
Did you call your shot with the Mandalorian? Did they come to you? Did you? Were you?
You in that movie?
It's a TV series on Disney.
Disney.
I thought it was a movie.
Well, if you like spaghetti westerns, you ought to check that shit out. Because
love
Jon
spaghetti.
Favreau, oh my God, he fucking they're killing it. Rick Famuyiwa, they're just killing it over there. And I always made fun of Star Wars, not because I really hated it. It's just I saw people excited about shit, and being a comedian, you just make fun of it.
Up, huh?
Yeah, you just make fun of it, right?
You're a miserable fuck, aren't you? It's gonna fuck up
not-
shit.
It's not as like I used to be. Now I kind of do it more fun. But when I was a younger comic, when I was really angry, I was a miserable prick. But so anyway, I've always
Joe
made.
Rogan was the angry comic too at one time. You ever see Joe Rogan stand up?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He's pretty tough. Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, that guy. He's one of the best comedians I've ever seen. Like his energy on stage is unique. There's nobody. The first time I saw him was at the Kowloon in Saugus. It was a Chinese restaurant. Like for some reason, Chinese restaurants and stand-up comedy in Boston, they just always had a room in the back or a room upstairs. In this place, they had a room upstairs. And
Always food there, huh?
yeah, and me and
I think I would like the Chinese restaurants, but they have good food there, huh?
yeah, and East Coast Chinese food too, which is the shit. So I went with late great Patrice O'Neill, and we went and watched him, and we're just fucking blown away. There was nobody. There was this weird thing with Boston comedy where you had this Mount Rushmore people that created it, and they didn't leave, didn't want to leave, and they were making great money. So you had to leave and establish yourself and then come back, and then you could headline. So he was the guy we were looking at. Like, how did he do that? Like, how is he still in his 20s headlining the Kowloon? Because that it just you couldn't get that. That gig did not exist for our generation, and he did it. So we're like, all right, let's go down and check this guy out, see if this guy's as good as people say he was. That's when he was doing the. You ever see tigers fucking? That was his closing bit, and he sounded just like a tiger, and he acted this shit out. I just like I remember the sonic like assault of that bit in a great way was just like. There was like. That bit alone was better than what my whole generation was doing collectively when we watched that. So I was just like, and that was one of those things when you saw a guy that good, that it couldn't not have an impression on you, that you had to be like.
So do you think that's your biggest influence?
There's comics and there's certain sets, and he's both. Joe Rogan at the Kowloon in fucking, I mean, I'm talking like 94. It was before I moved to New York. Me and Patrice went down and we watched him, and we were just like, "What?"
He's not with us no more.
Yeah, it sucks.
I was at his one of the what we roast Charlie Sheen or something. That was the last roast that he had.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll never not be sad. That guy, yeah. If he was still alive, you wouldn't know who I was or a lot of other people, because he was so good. But that was what made it great, because he was so good. You'd never had a competitive thing with them. Like, in order to compete with somebody, they have to be somewhere within my sight. And he was just over the horizon, and just so when he went on stage, you stopped being a comedian. You just became like a fan of stand-up. And that's what Rogan did when I saw him at the Kowloon. Like, I stopped being like, okay, how do I get there? And he moved to LA. I just forgot all of that shit and just started enjoying the show. And I almost felt like I should have paid him because I was sitting there like an audience member.
And people are that way with you when they see certain bits that you do, like your helicopter bit. They look at that and go, okay, you're hitting that from so many different angles, so many different perspectives. That's really...
You know what's funny? I flew with the guy that was the dude flying, and he had seen me do the bit and he never brought it up.
Really?
How cool is that? I had to find out afterwards.